Oh my goodness, guys, it's happening. We are here. It is the American Comedy Institute's final workshop for the month of May. I'm excited. I'm Jay Yoder. I'm your host. We're going to have a great time tonight. So if you haven't been with us before, I'm here on behalf of Stephen Rosenfield, and I'd like to welcome you to the American Comedy Institute's live virtual stand-up comedy workshop. Tonight, you're going to see comedians from all over the country. East Coast, West Coast, Midwest. It's going to be a great show. Actually, today's group was part of a workshop led by ACO's Becky Viduccio, and we're very excited to let them showcase their talents here. So please, while you're on YouTube, like and subscribe, leave some comments. We'd love to hear from you. And if you want more information, then please visit our website at americancomedyinstitute.com. This, for those of you that don't know, ACI started back in 1989 when Stephen Rosenfield first opened the doors in New York City. And we do live shows at Gotham every month. He is an award-winning author of Mastering Stand-Up, heralded by the New York Times as the best-known comedy teacher in America. And tonight, you're going to see some of that talent. He's had people go on to perform on SNL, late night shows, Broadway, all over in comedy clubs from here to international sites. And tonight you're going to see why. So I'm going to get started. I'm your host tonight. Like I said, I'm Jay Yoder. And for 18 years, I've been a public school teacher. Yeah, thank you. I'm doing the Lord's work. I appreciate that. I got to tell you, the last couple of years, I've been killing it. Yeah, by it, I mean my soul. And the mute button on Zoom. I wish that mute button was back in the classroom. I'm not going to lie. But it's been tough. I mean, I know a lot of you, even if you're not teachers, we all have meetings we have to go to for work. And recently at my school, we had to do training on THC. Yeah, that's pot. So right before 420, and I'm like, did everybody have to be at this meeting? Our 70-year-old librarian, Mrs. Jenkins, actually, she taught us what a dab was. We thought it was this nonsense. Turns out it's a concentrated form of THC that they hit in a pen. I mean, now we're doing something called restorative justice. And I'm going to be honest, for those of you that don't know, it just means we don't want to punish them, right? They've had a tough couple of years. We're trying to help them cope. We don't want to involve the cops as long as it's not too serious, right? I mean, you can talk smack, just don't cook it. And I'll be honest, there are teachers out there that are behind restorative justice, like Mrs. Jenkins, because if she's going to get through this school year, it's going to take a lot of confiscated THC. Yeah, that just wasn't a glimmer in her eye all those years, folks. Now, like I said, they're telling us at this meeting that we got to be on the lookout because these kids they're challenging each other. They're basically seeing how many times they can get out of class, go to the bathroom and do a dab. Yeah, I went to Catholic school. I don't know if any of you went to Catholic school. We had challenges. I used to sneak a turkey hoagie into Sister Doreen's class, take a few hits when she wasn't looking. It was like, oh, this is the good stuff. I always had the good stuff. I mean, we're talking boar's head. And if I couldn't do that, I'd go down to the corner to Abe's Deli. I mean, there were no seats, just on the bun, And what I realized is, these poor kids, they've just been filling their void with pot, and I've been filling mine with brisket. It turns out we're both heavy smokers is what I'm getting at. Now, I will say there are a lot of weird meetings, and even stuff like we've had, active shooter drills. Like, could you imagine Sister Doreen doing active shooter drills? Actually, scratch that. Could you imagine an active shooter dealing with Sister Doreen? Now, in my school, we have a program. It's called Run, Hide, Fight. Hell, if there aren't three more things I'm not qualified to do around there. Yeah. I will say the technology also out of hand. I think we can all agree upon that. In my school, we actually have a no cell phone policy, because these kids, even if they have the right answer in the palm of their hand, they're still failing my class, they're learning stuff on TikTok in 60 seconds, like Megan's knees. I would demonstrate, but it would take my knees 6.5 minutes. And they're coming in at like AOL speeds. It's like, shh, welcome, you've got frail. I mean, you know what I remember? I remember the one giant computer in the back of the classroom that operated on actual floppy disks. And the highlight of our career, Oregon Trail. I mean, these kids are trying not to get ghosted on Snapchat. We're trying not to get dysentery before lunch. All right. And so, like I said, no cell phone policy. And then just yesterday, I catch Jimmy resting it on the inside of his Chromebook. And I'm like, Jimmy, I see what you're doing. Put it away right now, or it's mine. This kid looked at me and he's like, Mr. Yoder, I've been playing this game all morning long. I'm about to get the high score. Can I please just finish the game? Like I said, I went to Catholic school. If I just thought half of what he just said out loud, Sister Doreen would have levitated me out of that classroom like she was Darth Vader. Welcome to 2023, right? So I went over and I'm looking at it, and you know what he's playing? Zombie Crush. So you know I put a stop to it right there. I mean, I'm in charge. I'm the teacher. There's no way in front of all his classmates I'm going to let him beat my high score. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. But it is. It's tough. I'll tell you this. As a parent, we've been trying to do stuff like board game day at house. And my daughter actually, she pulled out some classics like Guess Who. Have you guys played this game before? Guess Who? Little tiles. And yeah, have you played it in 2023? Daddy, is your person a girl? Ooh, well, gender is a construct. It's on a spectrum. I didn't ask their pronouns. Well, Daddy, is your person Asian? Oh, we're gonna have to wait for the 23andMe to get back, sweetheart. 7 to 10 days FedEx. We played for 3 hours and could not turn down one single tile. So what I'm telling you is I lost the battle that day. I gave her a device. I gave her a dab. We called it a day. Yeah. Well, I've been Jay Yoder. I've been your host. We're ready to get this show rolling. I'm so excited about this lineup. The first person on the lineup, she's a favorite here at the American Comedy Institute. You can see her all over the place. She's based in Des Moines, Iowa. We love her. Please welcome to the stage the very funny Miss Lisa Rossi.
Hi. So, a little bit about me. I'm in my early 20s, late 40s, that age range. And I'll tell you, I'm not a cougar, but I was in high school. So, when I was a senior in high school, I took a freshman to prom, and it was really fun. He didn't have his driver's license, so I had to pick him up from baseball practice. We had our pre-prom dinner at Chuck E. Cheese. He paid for things with his Chuck E. Cheese points. Um, at the end of the night, we went to third base in the back of my parents' minivan. Like we kind of hooked up, and I was like, where did you learn how to do this stuff? And he was like, health class. And then he got really weird. He got like kind of scared, and I was like, what's wrong? And he's like, what are we gonna name the baby? And I was like, honey, what grade did you get in health class? So, do you ever meet people who are working on themselves, but it's just not working? Yes. I'm afraid I'm one of those people. I've been in Zoom therapy for like 4 years, and I'm just not seeing any progress. Like, I'm still anxious. I don't sleep at night. Like, I don't know if it's me or my therapist or the fact that every time she talks, I do put her on mute. So, but now things are getting better. Instead of doing therapy, I'm doing something else. Zoloft. So I went to Stanford University, and I think back and I'm like, how did that happen? Who did I sleep with to get this degree? And I'll tell you, I have not retained any information from any of that because the past 4 years I've been listening to Elmo and making chicken nuggets. And now my kids, they're getting a little older, and they have more questions about things. They're getting more advanced, and I can't help them. Like, one of my sons right now is obsessed with Albert Einstein, and I'm like, oh, the guy who made the light bulb. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know, like, one of them asked me like when the Revolutionary War was, and I was like, was that January 6th? Like, they're like, Mommy, how do you not know this stuff? I'm like, I'm just seeing whether you know. So when my husband and I were first dating, we were kind of sexually like wild. We were like a little crazy, and we did stuff that we would never do today. Like, but and I always felt like these ideas were good ideas, but then I would end up crying. Like, we went to a strip club, and this stripper did a headstand on my husband's lap, and then she did the splits on his face. And yeah, and I started crying because I wasn't that flexible. And then we watched porn together. And the lady on the porn, she got more attention than I've ever gotten. Granted, there were five guys there. So, and then my husband got the idea, like, hey, let's role play, like, let's add another person. And I'm like, sure. But then, so we tried it, and I was like in the supporting role. I was like, just like the best friend in the rom com, just like spotting them and cheering them on. So, in my house, I'm the only female in a house full of boys. And I try to fit in and I try to relate, but it's hard sometimes. Like, I don't know, every time my husband talks to my sons about sports and cars, I'm like, I'm just not genetically made for this. My vagina's like, let's get out of here and get a Starbucks and go to Joanne Fabrics. So, yeah, I gotta tell you, I'm such a people pleaser. And it gets me in trouble sometimes. Like, the other day, there was this naked woman at the gym, like bending over in her locker. And I just made the noise. I was like, oh, and the woman heard, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry. And I was like, no, 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 it's my fault. My eyes were open. Oh, no, no, no. You look great. Like, I love to see you naked. Like, I could see you naked all day. I came here hoping that you would be naked. It was then that she called security. So, thank you very much. You've been a wonderful audience. I'm Lisa Rossi.
Yay, keep it going. Oh my goodness. All right, this is exciting. We've been having a great show. I want to get you, before we bring up our next person, I want to let you know that we have in-person workshops starting in June and July in New York City. And then in September, we're turning to online workshops. So please, we have a brand new website, AmericanComedyInstitute.com. Same place you've always been going, new look. You're going to love it. Please check it out. Now for our next act, I'm so excited. She's making her American Comedy Institute virtual debut. She made her live debut at Gotham on Friday, and she's coming to us all the way from Baltimore, Maryland. So let's give a warm American Comedy Institute welcome to Miss Tamra Marie.
Hi, thank you so much, Jay, for introducing me. And thank you for getting my name correct. I really do hate my name because people always mess it up. I usually get called like Tamara or Tamara, and then I have to turn into like a mime just to get people to remember my name. So I'm like, oh, actually, my name is Tamara, like Tamra. And they still don't remember. That's why I started dating Latino men, because in Spanish, my name is always the same, Tamara. Yeah, it sounds a lot better that way. I recently turned 40. Yeah, like a year and a half ago. And at 40, you're not exactly old, but people don't really call you young anymore either. I mean, the only things that you're too young for at 40 are bingo night, eharmony.com, and the shingles vaccine. Now, when some people go through a midlife crisis, they get like a red sports car, or they decide to travel the world. Well, I already did those things, so I decided to become a bodybuilder. Yes, because as a single Black mother in her 40s, I thought, how can I make myself even less dateable? Yeah, I don't get asked on a lot of dates, but I do get asked to arm wrestle. It's weird. Yeah, my current record is 0-7. I mean, I let the guys win, but they're always surprised. So and then I tell them, these muscles aren't for work, they're for show. And now you know why I'm still single. And dating is really hard as a single mom. I keep running into guys who ask me, am I into E&M? Have you guys heard of this, E&M? Yeah, it's ethical non-monogamy. I mean, my ex-husband cheated on me too, but he didn't come up with a cute acronym for it. Now, I mentioned I'm a bodybuilder, and you can tell that female bodybuilding was invented by men because we get to wear 5-inch clear platform heels. Yes, it is the only sport where you have to buy your shoes on playmates.com. You can't find those at Foot Locker. Trust me, I've looked. Then I have to feel like I have to explain why I have these clear stripper heels in my gym bag. And I'm like, oh, I know what it looks like, but actually I'm a physique athlete. Physique athlete? Is that what they're calling strippers these days? I thought the appropriate term was sex workers. Checking in for a bodybuilding show is also a really crazy experience. So once you go to check in, you give them your name, they line you up, assign you a number, and then they hose you down with this clear gloss, right? And then you have to pee in a cup. Not so they test the urine, because if they did that, they'd have to cancel the whole show. No, you pee in the cup so that you don't mess up your beautiful spray tan. Because after you look like you've just gone skinny dipping in a bucket of fried chicken, you get to go out on stage. Yeah, the whole process is just like prison, except for the spray tan. So if you see a red cup backstage at a bodybuilding show, do not drink out of it. That bubbly is not what you think it is. So are there any parents? Any parents watching? Oh, I have one child. I think that's plenty, right? I think China had the right idea on that. People always ask me, when are you going to have another one? And I'm like, well, there's faster routes to my son having someone to play Connect 4 with than me having to manufacture an entire human. Okay, have you ever heard of play dates? I am also vegan. Yeah, I know no one usually claps for that. It's fine. Like, I know vegans can be annoying. Now, there are different levels to veganism in my defense. There's the super militant, meat is murder, PETA activists who are throwing red paint on fur coats during Fashion Week. And then there's just the vegetarians who are lactose intolerant. Somehow we all got lumped together in one big group like some weird blended family. And people do say a lot of silly things to me being vegan. Like, people will say, oh, where do you get your protein? Or, oh, how do you get milk? You can't milk a nut. But by far, the dumbest thing that has ever been asked of me as a vegan is, do they make vegan peanut butter? Yeah, this guy actually thought that peanut butter was peanuts mixed with butter. Yeah, that's the last time that I'll date a personal trainer. I'm just kidding, guys. I don't go out on dates. Thank you. I'm Tamara. Spend my time.
Let's go, Tamara. I'm ready. No, I probably would lose. You had me at KFC. At one point, you talked about KFC. I lost it. I was thinking about the 11 herbs and spices. There was a lot of things going on there. But my wife and I tried to get a Peloton last January, typical. But then in February, the technology on them is so intense that it let us know it identifies as a clothing rack. So I guess we're just going to honor its wishes at this point. So, all right, we have our final act. I'm very excited. He's coming all the way from the West Coast, where I think it's currently raining. We had a weather report earlier. He was nice enough to give us the whole deal. Please welcome to the stage the very funny Richard Snyder. and make sure, and don't forget to unmute. You got it, sir.
It gave me like instructions, which I appreciate. And this is my Peloton right there. It identifies as a Peloton. So it's great to see you guys. So when I was 55 years old, I had a midlife crisis. I needed to change something. So I quit my sexuality. Yeah, that's right. I came out as gay when I was 55 years old. I appreciate the applause, but it's not necessary. You know why? Because that is 85 in gay years. Now, I think the person most surprised was my wife. Richard, you can't be gay. Look at you. You don't work out. You can't sing. You've got shoulder hair that you don't wax. And then coming out to my teenage children, I know everyone here has kids, traumatic. Kids, daddy's gay. Oh my God, everyone's dad is gay now. That's so 2008. Come back when you're trans. But you know, it's been an amazing journey despite all that. I mean, really, living out loud as my full, authentic self has been awful. I'm sorry if I blew out the mic on that, but I feel strongly about it because, you know, the gay dating apps, incomprehensible to a guy my age. I mean, clearly designed for young people. I mean, everything starts in the chat with one word, hey. Was that hey meant for me? What's up? No punctuation. What's up? Interest rates. Reading great article. What do you think about how the Federal Reserve is handling inflation? Send dick pic. Oh, you want something hot. Attaching link to article. And what's with this ghosting thing? I mean, I had to get used to that. Baby boomer here, right? I mean, I had a date with this guy. He didn't show up. You do not do that to a boomer. I sent an ambulance to his house. Listen, in my day, if you didn't show up for something, you were dead or at least injured. Well, the EMT called me and I'm like, oh, hey, I'm really worried. Is that guy okay? Yeah, he's okay. Found out you got shoulder hair. And then like, well, gay porn. Got to talk about it. There's this genre in gay porn where old guys like me are having sex with like super hot young guys and they're liking it. It's disgusting the way these porn companies are exploiting those tender old men. They pump these guys up full of Viagra and false hope. That guy being whipped, that is someone's grandpa. He shouldn't be there. He should be at home eating bran muffins and watching CNN. Yeah, it's elder abuse. Okay, there was this scene where this old guy's out in a massage table and he's surrounded by 20 naked Timothy Chalamet lookalikes. Now, okay, I get it. If I was that guy, sure. At first, it would be hot. I mean, like really hot. But then I'm like, oh my God, there's so many of them. This is going to be exhausting. So, you know, it's porn unrealistic. And I know why. I'm an old guy. I know what these old guys really need: a nap. Thank you.
Oh my God, give it up for Richard Snyder. You know, my dad didn't tell me he was gay, and I was a teenager and I wandered into his bedroom and I found a stack of Bear Monthly magazine. And I was like, oh my God, my dad's a hunter? He hunts bear? I didn't even know he owned guns. That was the day I learned a different definition for bear. And learned that he was gay and I was not. Yeah, so he was cocking a different gun. Yeah, so well, you have reached the end of our show.
Someone's there. Read.
So excited. I can't, I'm so happy that we've had the chance to showcase the amazing talent that we've had. September is our next online workshop. Please check our website. We do have some online hosting websites and mind mapping and character act outs. So please go to AmericanComedyInstitute.com. Check out all our offerings. We got so much exciting things coming your way, no matter where you are in the world. We have something for you. And if you haven't had a chance to pick up Steven's book, Mastering Stand Up, go on to Amazon and do yourself a favor, because that's how I got my start. So from all of us here at American Comedy Institute, I've been Jay Yoder. You've been amazing.